Welcome, everybody. Happy Kwaai Day. We have developed a muscle memory. This is important that we do this meeting every week. I think we skipped one for the holiday break at the end of last year, but this is super important. People look forward to this, and it shows that we are capable of fulfilling our promises. We commit to do this. We come together and we grow stronger each week. So thank you all for participating. I'd like to maybe share a slide if I can. Yeah, I can. Look at that. Share now. No, Matt's going to give me okay, and unshare, and then I can share. Go. Thanks so much. Okay. I think you have to.
We're going to get better at the Google Meet sharing soon.
We are going to do that. Okay. So I want to tell you that well, it's spring break for some people. Matt, I think you need to unshare, and then there we go. Okay. It's spring break for some people, so we and it's important for everyone to take a break. You know, the volunteer movements we tend to get extremely excited about and committed to what we're doing, and take some time off. This is not a race. Okay, but here's our traction so far. The member rate is growing. We actually went through 280 members this morning. Started the year at 150. You can see here the increase in rate at the beginning of the year. The summit gave us a boost. The summit helped us focus our message and who is our target audience for volunteers. It is, in fact, developers. That's why we were at the SoCal Linux conference. And AI has done a number on this industry. There are lots of talented folks in between jobs. Hey, come and spend your time with Kwaai. Don't just have an empty gap in your resume. This is where you can come and volunteer your time. You'll come away smarter than when you joined. So repeat that message to your colleagues. Bring them to Kwaai. We'd love to see them. I'm going to briefly talk about funding, not so much in. Let's just go to this slide over here. It became clear to us over the last few weeks that our best opportunity for funding sources will be sponsorship. And so it's important to understand, well, what will the sponsors be sponsoring? And the sponsors are sponsoring our milestones, our development milestones. If you look at the top track, that's the organizational milestones. So 2023, we started the organization. 2024, we're growing it. And then the 3 years after that, our broad theme is to globalize the organization. We're well on track on our 2024 milestones. We aim to get to 1,000 volunteers and all the other things we've listed here. We aim to have had either 4 summits or hackathons. We've had 1 so far in Q1, and we've got 3 more quarters to go. And we also aim to launch an EMEA chapter. You'll hear from Cristian Randieri about the progress on that. And then what is it this organization is going to be doing? Well, the 3 tracks below that describe what we're doing. About 80% of our energy is focused on personal AI. We achieved the proof of concept. Check. Done. Now we're aiming to develop something that is worthy of a beta release. And it'll be great to all this new energy that's come into the organization. We want to find a way of channeling that energy into these 3 work tracks. So if you're a developer, you probably want to get into the personal AI track. If you are a researcher, math, physics, but deep in neural networks, you might want to contribute on research or even life sciences research. So we've got a vibrant activity in that work stream. And then the non-technical folks are also participating in the movement. We've got people with legal backgrounds or policy backgrounds. Join the policy work group. And if you don't know what you want to do, you can have a look at the Slack channels. Go have a look at the Slack the Kwaai meetings channel, and you'll see the recordings of all of the non-private work group sessions. So the public stuff you'll see on the website. You can go and look at that. But if you've signed up to become a volunteer or an advisor, you will have had a Slack invitation. You can find the meetings in the meetings channel, play through the recordings, see what takes your interest, and then contact the various individuals, the leaders of the various work groups, participate in the weekly work group meetings, and see how you can contribute. Okay, I'm going to stop presenting there. We had a fantastic town hall last week, and if you want to find out how we are, how we're presenting, how we're following up on that, I think there's the last few minutes of the policy work group video. You can see how we're going to do. But back to you, Matt.
Cheers. That was awesome, Reza. I love it. Thank you. Cristian, thank you for joining. Great to chat with you earlier this week. Would love for you to just spend a few minutes on getting folks updated. Brief note before you do that, my apologies for the operational clerical error in sending out the invite. That meeting invite is set to start April 25th. So folks that are 23rd, excuse me. So folks that had received that, just know April 23rd is the correct date. Cristian, please.
Yes, hi to everybody. I'm very happy to announce that we will have our first EMEA chapter meeting on the 25th April. So I will hope to have a lot of people that will join with us. We will start a new adventure. We will try to do our best in order to give our best contribution from the EMEA chapter. And at the moment, we scheduled the meeting of the EMEA chapter is each 2 weeks, starting from the 25th April. So I will be very happy to collaborate with all the people that want to join and to help to grow up this chapter. So just this. Thank you very much, and we do like that.
Thank you, Cristian, and please join the EMEA chapter Slack channel. That's really where you can get organized. And just to confirm, because I think I made another clerical error, Cristian, here, April 25th, and we're going to be doing this on Thursdays.
Oh, okay. It's on the calendar for Tuesday.
That's right. I'm confirming with Cristian. Cristian, is this to be Tuesdays or Thursdays? Is it starting April 25th on Thursdays? If so, I'll need to update the invitation again.
It's Tuesday, the 25th each Tuesday.
But Tuesday is the 23rd.
No, the other. Sorry for my pronunciation.
Thursday. Okay.
Thursday.
We'll get that updated. My apologies,
Yeah.
Cristian. So yeah, Thursdays, bi-weekly EMEA chapter meeting. This will really be a bit of a microcosm of this meeting. Cristian will be leading that, helping grow the chapter. We're also adding folks that are just, if you're in a time zone that's friendly to the EMEA region, you're invited. So this will include a lot of the Asia Pacific members that we have. We don't have an Asia Pacific chapter. That's a goal for next year. But please, if you'd like to join that meeting, you will get an invitation. The invitation will come from, this is my update here. The invitations will start to come from pi@kwaai.ai. Now, unfortunately, I'm still the personal AI here. It's still a manual process, but we're going to be shifting over all of our calendar invitations to this central account. This is going to make it a lot easier for us to manage these meetings, manage the hosting controls, make sure we have the screen shares set up and the access set up when and where we need it. So please do expect a refresh of all of the meetings. We're going to be looking at a lot of the calendar experience for you all, making sure that these meetings are accessible to you, that you don't have to have them blocking on your calendar, that you have options to go and see what's happening at Kwaai at any given moment. There's lots of work group meetings happening throughout the week, And we know we haven't quite, exposed those in the best way possible for people that would like to get involved. So we're making some big efforts there on just what we're calling the member journey. If you'd like to get involved on the member journey, we'll have an update a little bit from Natalie later on that. Please join us in the member journey channel as well. This calendar invite situation is the first thing that we'll be tackling. Eunice, I see you're on. Would you just give us a similar kind of 2-minute update here just on the CRM updates, changes pending for the membership form?
Good morning, everyone. Sure. We quick. I will share my screen, show what we are working on. All right, entire screen, this one, share. So the idea is to build a foundation for all the back office automation. We would like to declare independence from the Google Sheets and the emails. We elected to use the CRM application. We have the Enterprise Edition, which offers a lot of functionality and gives us the opportunity to grow and scale. Some of the work we're doing, we're building new membership submission. There is some discussion on how long or short this form should be, but it's there and can be customized. What you will see on the screen is the result of the input from that online form into the CRM. These are dummy records of leads, candidates to be members or advisors of Kwaai. Currently in the CRM, it's configured. Whoever is managing this process can click on any of these records, see the details, which will document activity, meaning calls, communication, emails, assigned tasks, etc. The leads will go through an approval process internally. Once they're approved, they become a contact with the status inside Kwaai. And I will show you how those members, this is the actual list of current members as of last Tuesday. There are different ways to view the list. One of them is a Kanban view that classifies the members by status. Similarly, we can click on any member's name here, and that will display all relevant information, the organization, the activity. This is a work in progress, hasn't been completed yet. Sorry, I was clicking on the wrong list. This will automate many of the work that's currently being done. Matt mentioned the scheduling. That's the next step. And that's the update.
Thank you so much, Eunice. Really appreciate your work and assistance and just driving this forward, getting involved, rolling up your sleeves and getting the hands digitally dirty there. I appreciate that.
Sure.
And one just comment too, we talk about this as CRM, customer relationship management, leads, contacts, really all of you are what we're trying to optimize for is just members experience here at Kwaai. When you come in the door, how do you know what to do? Where do you know what to sign up for? How do you know what's going on? So we really want to make that a lot better experience than just getting a calendar invite and showing up. That being said, it's that you've shown up that we've been able to get to this point. And Riza mentioned that, keep showing up like that. This is why we're all here. And this is why it's become so important to come together.
And Matt, one quick thing for Cristian to know that the members will be sorted by chapter. So he will have access to his own contacts. That way he can manage activity independently from you.
Love
here
it.
in the US.
Thank you, Eunice. Let's keep moving here on the agenda. Diego, are you set and ready? I think you're ready to screen share here. Diego's the lightning talk coming up, and I can get to there we go. Diego's a machine learning researcher at the Universidad Nacional de Asunción in Paraguay. He's been also the leader of our AI and life sciences work group. And our sort of personal AI and drug discovery line of thinking. He's going to be giving our lightning talk today. There'll be a few minutes available for questions here after this, but without further ado, Diego, please take it away.
So hi everyone, thank you so much, Matt, for the introduction. So let me start. You can all see my screen now, no?
You might want to go to presentation mode.
Oh, I did that by just.
We got you there. You can do that way.
So let me see if. Can you see now in presentation mode? Or not?
No, we got your other screen.
Oh, sorry. Probably is because I didn't share my whole screen. So let me just. So I think I should present. I should share my whole screen so that. Okay, so now you see my whole screen, right?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. So let me start because. Okay, so I will be talking about some of the research that I do as a researcher here at the National University and also some of the collaborations that I have. I will not present the work that I've been doing in Kwaai because, well, basically, Matt asked me to present some of the work that I've been doing outside Kwaai. Here you have my website, my personal website, where you can go and see some of these as well. So I work mainly on AI for drug discovery, and I will try to explain briefly the motivation behind this and why this is an important problem. And it starts with the drug discovery process. So in case you don't know how long it usually takes to take a drug from the starting point of the development to the point where it reaches the market, it usually takes between 12 and 15 years. And it costs between $1 and $2 billion to develop a single drug that is on the market, right? And here you see the different stages of the drug development. I will not go through each of these stages, but for you to know, usually start with the molecular identification of what is causing a disease, and then you start screening small molecule drugs against that target. So there is a phase where you need to also test on clinical trials, that will be all the green part here, on actually human patients where you assess for efficacy and safety. So, and actually it is well known that one of the main reasons behind the failures of these drugs in clinical trials is because of safety. And what do I mean by safety? And usually is unexpected drug side effects. So I don't know if you know this, but usually around 40 to 50% of the side effects of the drugs that reaches the market are only discovered after the drugs enters the market. And this has caused like serious problems for big pharma. These are two examples that were actually published in the New York Times, where the pharma company had to pull out the drug from the market because it was causing very severe side effects on patients. Therefore, having computational methods that can assist researchers that are developing the drug at early stage is fundamental so that they can anticipate this side effect, or they can do several things if you have some tool to anticipate side effects, like you can modify the drug, or even you can change the drug or some of the properties that are causing these adverse effects. Some of the work I did, so during my PhD, well, this started during my PhD, I developed a machine learning framework for predicting the frequency of the drug side effects. This was, I did part of this work also when I was at Yale working with Professor Mark Gerstein and Dr. Chantal Lee, where the goal was to predict not only whether a drug will cause or not a side effect, not only by the binary problem, but we wanted also to predict the frequency. So is this going to happen? It's going to be very rare in the population, or it's going to be very frequent. So when I say very rare, usually I mean it's going to happen in 1 out of 10,000 in the population, or very frequent, 1 in 10 in the population, right? So that's usually what it means. And for this problem actually to be solved, we had to develop a novel metric factorization model. So the algorithm is shown here, but I will not go into the technical details, but you can find all the details in the Nature Communications paper. So I have been expanding on this world of drug side effect prediction because there is a huge challenge here that, so the challenge is, can we predict side effects of drugs as early as possible during clinical trials? And I try to basically understand better this problem. And I show in this paper that was published in Cell Press that this is a very hard problem to solve, that most of the machine learning methods fail at this problem. And therefore, I propose a new model that integrates a lot of information, a lot of multimodal information for this prediction model. So it's called the GSM model. This was also one of the best, well, by the editor was selected one of the best work in that area into 2022, I think. So the third project I wanted to share is this idea of doing drug repurposing for COVID-19. So in case you don't know this term, the idea of drug repurposing is that can we use some of the drugs that are already on the market for new diseases for which we don't have any drug? And the reason why we want to do this is because it's very appealing to use a drug that we already know is safe in humans, and we can produce it very quickly, right? So the pharma company already have the ways and the method to produce a drug. And this was very critical for the pandemic, right? So we had this new virus, we didn't understand a lot about the disease, and people were doing experiments and releasing some of the data sets. So we used that to build two different approaches. One was a metric factorization model that was also inspired in my previous work, but the modeling is different, so I cannot go into the details here. And the second approach was a network-based approach, where basically you model the cell as interaction between the proteins, and then the effect of the virus can be represented by alteration of some of these proteins that you can see here in red, and also the effect of the drug is usually happens through binding to these proteins. Therefore, you can relate this to using graph kernel method. So the effect of the drug intuitively, right? So if the drug has its targets closer to the virus, it's more likely to have an effect on the virus. So in this way, we produced two drug rankings that were assessed experimentally, and this has been passed on to other researchers that were working at the time on drug research for COVID-19. This work also received editorial recognition together with the Covert group that Afshin leads. So I think Afshin is not today, but the Covert group that Afshin leads also is a consortium, was also highlighted here in this editorial paper. And finally, Afshin brought to me this very, very hard problem of trying to predict a small molecule that alter microRNA. So in case you don't know, microRNAs are very tiny little molecules within the cell, and Afshin found that these are altered, especially during the SARS-CoV-2 infection, but also appears in other problems such as space biology or in several cancer types. And the problem was, how can we develop a machine learning model that can help researchers to test new drugs or drugs that were not known to affect these microRNAs. And some of the initial work was published in this paper in Cell Reports, but we had new work on this, a new deep learning model that I developed for this, that I cannot unfortunately share yet because it's under review in Nature Communication, but it's along this line. And this is some of the research. I'm still working on this problem, by the way, because it's very exciting. And thank you so much. And that's all. Are there any questions?
Wow, Diego, that was awesome. Please, if you have a question, we can afford a little bit of time, one or two. Please raise your virtual hand if you'd like to ask Diego a quick question here. That was phenomenal. Yes, Andre.
Hi, Diego. So that was a very nice overview. One of the big principles for myself as a clinician, of course, and specifically in the COVID-19 era, was the tendency to cause very rare events that are really not necessarily very rare, but rare events. For example, myasthenia gravis. For example, pericarditis and stuff. And those were not predicted by the models that I saw when I was working at so when I was working both for Pfizer and for Moderna.
Mhm.
And as I headed a safety group in part of those, what you're doing is exactly the right thing. We want to be able to predict, but then there are these very rare events that do occur. And I wonder if you can comment on that.
Yeah.
What additional
Yes.
information do we need to be able to predict those kind of rare, life-threatening events?
So that would be for vaccines, right? Not for drugs. You are mentioning, or is for a drug?
Yeah, I was talking about those were for vaccines.
Yeah. So for vaccines, that's a very interesting question, and it's something that I discussed with other researchers a long time ago when the pandemic started. For vaccines, there is a data set of reporting system. So I think in that time, because we didn't have enough data set, we cannot actually use machine learning. So if it was for small molecules, it would be easier, the problem, easier in a way, right? But for vaccines, what we will need is some molecular representation that we can translate into features to use it for machine learning. And there is problem with data sharing with pharma, and that's usually the main issue that we are having to work on that research area. But I think it's very important that we move also towards that.
Thank you. That very, very observational. Really appreciate that, Andre. Thank you, Diego. Whoops, not the way I want to go quite yet. Let's move on to some work group updates here. There's quite a few, and we have a lot of new faces on the call today. So a forewarning to the new faces on the call. We have a tradition towards the end here, member voices. We'd love for you to introduce yourself. I'm going to ask that folks raise their virtual hand. There's so many of you. It'd be great to get some help in prioritizing your introductions. So when we come to that point, please raise your hand. And for the next work group updates, I'd love to pass it over to Sam Johnston to give a quick update on our architectural meeting and engineering progress.
All right. So good morning, everyone, from sunny Vancouver. We had a good call yesterday, some really good progress there, and starting to see some real momentum building. A lot of the discussion was about kind of what it is that we're building, right? A bit like Three Blind Men and the Elephant, kind of, is it a spec or software? And I think the thing is it's both. And then is it going to be a spec first and we build software to it? Or more likely we kind of build the software and then extract a spec from it. The suggestion was that it was kind of like I've been talking about Linux standard base LSB. There was kind of, I think Reza mentioned like POSIX, and I feel like that's probably a good kind of standard that we can certify against and so on. We've got one of the big kind of the focuses of the discussions has been quite a nuanced, detailed architecture diagram that I think Roman put together. So that's really good. I've got a more simple version where you kind of have sources from systems of record that are brought in as streams. They're turned into vectors, fed into models with RAG, and then you have applications of all of that. And so we're starting to get some more clarity around that. Reza's chart that he had up before in terms of what is it, it's free. I would probably add that it's open source. It's self-hosted. That typically today would mean cloud, now that we're kind of 15 to 20 years into the cloud cycle, but under your own keys, right? It would have open APIs. We may do things like emulate the OpenAI API initially and so on. And then, of course, we have that published spec. In terms of updating from the work group, some of the specific discussions we had was around DRM, which is a bit kind of kryptonite for open source people, versus TPMs, which is a very useful hardware technology to implement strong security. We kind of gravitating more towards like a security-centric model and being a gatekeeper around people's private data. And Reza suggested potentially introducing new terminology as well. We talked about FIDO versus OAuth and stuff like that. The answer is both and probably more. It depends on the context. We talked about vector versus relationship, things like Chroma and PostgreSQL, and PG Vector and MongoDB and others. And really, again, it's going to be both. And if you've got specific use cases like enterprise, you might choose, say, Mongo over something that's more free and less supported. We talked about serverless versus containers. Again, I think Shad suggested it could be both. You could have a container that could run serverlessly. I think it's very important that at a minimum we have nothing running when you're not using it, so that there's a zero kind of base cost outside of storage. I think that's going to be pretty critical. So that's going to, again, a lot of these decisions are going to be driven by the requirements. Talked about abilities versus plugin. Again, it's both, right? I mean, we're going to have kind of WordPress-like plugins that bring abilities to do things like OCR images or speak Japanese or read text data or create text data and so on. And then we talked also about solid versus systems of record, but that's not really our decision. It's kind of up to the sources of the data, because we're not going to tell users, well, you can't use Gmail because they don't support solid. On the requirements front, we've got some really great user stories coming in. Keep them coming. We need to turn those into a prioritized product backlog and start to move. So modularity, yes, I talk about kind of a composable architecture. It's a good point, Karsten. And so we need to really get to that prioritized product backlog and start to introduce, in my opinion, so this wasn't in the meeting, this is me kind of inserting this, like more of like an agile Scrum approach with regularly bi-weekly cadence, and maybe not daily stand-ups, but bot-based daily stand-ups and that kind of stuff. So to kind of start wrapping it up then, what is it? It's a personal AI operating system. It's self-hosted, even if that's in the cloud. There's no running cost. The option to run locally, again, even if it's in the cloud. But critically, ample opportunity for the ecosystem, right? So as examples of that, Kwaai offering a normal kind of quoting botch loop here, a batteries included version for normal use cases and probably tech-savvy users in without support for your grandmother on a freemium and probably donation basis, which creates an opportunity for somebody like, say, think WordPress.org versus WordPress.com for automatic. So somebody could offer like a commercial version for prosumers, like again, single tenant, but larger storage and higher availability and so on, high security. You could have a multi-tenant version for SMBs, teams, and families, right? So that's another opportunity if somebody wants to start thinking about kind of what data store, what security would be involved. You could have an enterprise version with SSO, plenty of opportunity there. Industry-specific versions for teachers, Ruth, doctors, Kai, and then programmers. I think Shad mentioned that was another interesting area. And then like technology-specific versions for Mongo, Red Hat's OpenShift and this kind of stuff. So to wrap up on kind of 5 minutes there, like next steps, we've got I have a startup guy. It's like write code, talk to customers, write code, talk to customers. Got to get that cadence and keep building on the kind of, let's say, proof of concepts we've got. And really also in parallel, get those user stories and start prioritizing that backlog. And then if there's things in the backlog, like support for Canvas, like for Ruth, for the education area, if her school doesn't pay for it, then maybe the 501c3 could put a bounty on or that kind of thing. Really,
we'll find a sponsor. We will find a sponsor for our teachers.
Exactly. And to that point, being really action-oriented, don't have discussions for this. I've seen discussions about, do we use protobufs or REST or whatever? A lot of that stuff is going to be defined for us by the use cases. So the kind of IETF approach that I'm used to is like rough consensus and running code. If you've got people roughly agree, you don't have to have unanimity, but you've got a running code implementation of it, then that's gonna take the day. And then of course that real focus on creating opportunity and really starting to get people outside of the core working group to start, creating as well on top of it. Okay, I think I'm getting into my 6 minutes.
And we're here for you, everyone. If you're building on this stuff, we are here to support you. So if you've never gone down the entrepreneurial road, this is a whole community of folks that have, and we are here to help you navigate. So if you see commercial opportunities, ping me, ping Sam. We'll coach you through. We'll talk to you, help you. We're here to be helpful. So thank you guys for showing up today.
Love it. And Sam, thank you so much. Fantastic update. Toby, you're actually up next. Quick shout out to Debbie, who's not on the call. She was hosting last week. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate you and also the work on the newsletter. Toby, can you tell us a little bit about the plans there? 2 minutes maybe.
Yes. So we did get the welcome email out to everyone who attended the booth at Scale. So if any of you guys are on the call, thank you. You got the email. You're on the call. We appreciate you. We're going to be planning first a monthly email, and then we'll move into a more rapid fire as the group evolves. But we're starting with monthly, so we're looking for contributions of things that you like to see in the newsletter, whether it's highlights around what's going on in AI startups, what's going on in tool sets. What do you want to see in the newsletter that's going to help you be a better you? And that's kind of it for the newsletter right now. Oh, and it also will lead to a blog eventually. We need a little help from the DevOps team to point a URL. But by the end of next week, we should have that resolved, and we'll have a nice little blog as well as a newsletter platform. And we're using Beehive. I haven't approached them for a sponsorship yet. So anyone in the community, if you know the founder, you know somebody high up in sales or biz dev, make that connection, please.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toby. And where do folks go? Where do folks go to get your feedback, get involved?
In Slack, the marketing group. If you are not in it, just hop in there.
Please and thank you. If you don't have an invitation for Slack, it means you've signed up as an observer or you haven't signed up yet. So please do let me know if you'd like one. I'll put the invite in the channel a little bit later. Jump in there, join us. This is where we get all of our asynchronous conversations happen here. Natalie, I'd love to introduce, just have you introduce yourself and some of the work that you're spinning up here to help us out.
Hello, everybody. All right, so, okay, really quickly. I'm not very good at presenting stuff, so just bear with me. It's a pleasure to be here today for the time given. Thank you guys so much. I want to firstly begin by thanking my friend and board member, Brittany DeVenter, for telling me about Kwaai. This is why word of mouth is so important. And also for Reza and Matt for being so open to connecting with me, because this is why I'm here right now. Quickly, a few sentences about myself. I'm Berklee College of Music graduate. And from there, I worked with BRAR Association Los Angeles chapter as a director of membership, location-based entertainment producer with Making XR, and currently as sales and marketing manager for Glassbox. Please feel free to Google those names and dive in further at your leisure. So my background as a creative and almost a decade now working with small tech startups has given me a really diverse experience in dealing with all the different roles that it takes to create a memorable brand, brand presence, and most importantly, customer satisfaction. So I'm going to go through a few things and we're going to dive right in. So at Kwaai, currently, the quote unquote customer is our volunteers. Where without them, we can't do much, or only a few are left with much to do. This can become burdensome, and I, like all of you, came in excited, eager to make a change in a new emerging world. I understand many people are curious, but when connecting with a quote-unquote tech bro and senior devs, or even an entry-level graphic designer, there's a level of respect and admiration that we must all convey because the exchange is that, right? So we want to let everyone know that they are valued and their presence is needed and held in high esteem. I say this not only as a volunteer myself, but as a call to action to our executive officers and board of directors. Money is not what drives us, at least me, but it's a possibility of change and to be at the forefront of a new movement. So I personally believe in a human-centric technological society, but that's my own personal politics. So my first point is a quick cultural proposal. If someone says something in Slack or even in a meeting, hey, I have a great idea for this or for that, remember, we may not know what it took that person to speak up. So instead of giving a thumbs up or a grade, consider maybe a follow-up action question like, this is a great idea. Tell me a bit more about what brought you to it. And how would you approach this or that? Or how can we test it out? And like we shared, if there's a publication that's going out, a social media post, an email, any official statement from Kwaai, there should always be someone to do a final proofread before you press send. We're trying to bring in the brilliant minds of the future here and ask them to give us their time. So that's no easy feat. So if Kwaai is misspelled, for example, which we currently are making sure that it's a new household name like Pepsi and NVIDIA, people are not misspelling NVIDIA. That's because we got to get that branding down, right? So we should be able to capture that early. So remember also that many people are losing their jobs and careers because of this new technology, and we need to be open and respectful with everybody. We value our volunteers. That's above and beyond number one. That's as high as it gets. So without them, we will be all just having a call with investors instead right now. So next, I wanted to share a few branding ideas that are simple enough to implement. So let me start here. Like I shared, I'm not very good at this. So thank you. All right. Can you see that? Cool.
Yeah.
All
that's
right.
cool.
So I propose that executive officers, board of directors, any other leadership roles should have a Google Meet background. This is a visual cue to help newcomers know who the main people are on the call, and also for those that watch later. Plus branding, right? The one I made is using the summit picture, which I love, and we could take this and run whatever you guys want. I just want to kind of give a visual concept to get that going. All right, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going through this quick because there's a lot to cover. Not really, actually, just a few things that I want to make sure that.
Matt, you'll need to unshare.
Well,
Yes, please, that would be great.
yeah, you can take it over from the little square with the up arrow there.
Brilliant, thank you.
And we'll roll right from
Can you
this
see
into
this?
member voices, and I'll get those hands here when we go
Brilliant,
there.
thank you
Yep.
guys. I'll be as quick as humanly possible. All right, cool. So there's a ton of great content here on our YouTube page, right? But unfortunately, there's no uniformity or branding. I'm not an artist or a graphic designer, but I do know that any great organization or company has a YouTube thumbnail template. So I don't know if you guys can see this. Let's see if you guys can see this.
Yeah, we can see it.
Wait a minute. Can you see that? No, you can't. This is why. Give me 1 second, you guys. This is why I'm technically challenged.
That's our YouTube channel, and please, as Natalie's pointing out, there's tons of great stuff there. We haven't organized it very well.
So you're seeing this. So this is like, for example, a mock-up that I could kind of did this. This is like a great kind of like possible beginning template for our weekly meetings. I'll leave this up to you as a possible final or a great place to start to put as a YouTube thumbnail picture for our YouTube. Having these as covers will create a uniformity that the general public is a little more accustomed to seeing and easier to select. Also, I know that today we're all okay with being filmed, but as technology progresses, we may not want our faces as a thumbnail of a YouTube video that we joined like once. So privacy is key here. With that, I'm going to share. This is what happens when I am doing a lot of things at once. I'm trying to do this really quick. Nope, that's not it. Sorry, guys. Okay. All right. So with that, I'll share the website, right? So I love the website. I think you guys did a great job of updating it. I have a few ideas that I'm working on to further drive the marketing copy front for this, but today I'm not prepared to share that just yet, so stand by on that. But with that YouTube cover idea in mind, I thought of the keystone videos, such as the Kwaai intro call to action video here. See, I love seeing Reza, but I think as a first impression, it could be a bit confusing, and we only have a few seconds to make a great impression on our website visitors. So I thought maybe something like this. Okay, maybe something like this, for example. So I propose this as like a possible YouTube cover thumbnail for the key videos. Now this is a bit different, and ironically, what I love about this is that it greets you with a smile and a wink, right? So this
we're seeing an RA media. Is that what you intend to show?
No, crap. Sorry about that. All right, sorry about that. Wait a second. Give it a second. RA media. What's that? Sorry, guys.
It's your Google profile thumbnail.
Natalie, perhaps.
What about this?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So I was
We
thinking
got the
this.
cover template. Yep.
Yeah. So this again meets you with a great week and a smile, something like that.
Thank you.
Or also, the
Thank you,
Kwaai
Natalie. We do have, sorry, I'm going to have to cut you out here. I'll cut you off here. We do have to get to some member voices. We got tons of folks. Really appreciate you just getting in and doing work here. This is what Kwaai is all about. We are all volunteers. Thank you so much for bringing up, showing up, sharing your ideas. Really appreciate you and what you're doing.
Lastly, if I can just really quickly just add the final thing. All our YouTube videos, we're really missing a huge opportunity of adding descriptions onto each and every single one of them. We could play the algorithm game, really bring in, especially keywords like AI and things like that. We're really missing that opportunity there. So I think that's another huge thing we can do there. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Great.
Natalie. Appreciate that. Member voices, we'd love to hear from folks. I've already got some hands up. If you're new here, you'll be called on first. Please get in line. Simon, please kick us off. Introduce yourself. Tell us why you're here.
Hi, everybody. My name is Simon Ho. I actually see my friend Jeremiah Long on the call, and I just found out about Kwaai like literally 30 minutes ago. Went to the website and I saw this thing about joining like a Friday call. Today's Friday, so I just dial in and you guys were talking, so I thought it's a good time. So anyway, I'm in the early childhood education space. I've been working in it for the last 25 years. So based out of Cupertino, California. So I have a software business, right, serving the childcare providers. So one of the things that personally I'm trying to do now is kind of branching out, leveraging AI to build like AI tools to help with the blossoming of the child, every single child, like by helping the parents and the time the child spend in the childcare center and everybody else in the community. So, and I think I do believe that we are kind of in a critical juncture of how do we approach AI? Is it going to be dominated by the centralized entity, or we should decentralize it, which sounds like it's what Kwaai believes in, right? So I'm kind of excited to learn more and see if there are ways to collaborate and contribute. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Ruth, music to your ears. Professor Ruth Rasool is leading some thoughts on AI in education. Please connect with her. Harish, you're up next.
Hey, hi everyone. So I am Harish and I have done my master's at UCR, and my primary interest is data science, and I have developed various deep learning models to solve various computer vision and NLP tasks. And I have also worked as a software engineer at Fidelity, where I have developed front-end and back-end features and integrated them into the existing software. So as like everyone here, I have looked at the Kwai's mission, and it really resonated with me, and I wanted to help build some features for Kwaai AI, and that's why I'm here.
Awesome. We'd love to have you in our architecture and engineering work group meeting. It's on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific.
I'm already in that. I have
excellent. You found it. You got involved. This is what we love from new folks. Find the stuff and attach. Thank you, Jeremiah. Please.
Hey, so thank you so much for the invitation that I actually got from Harish Pillay. He dropped in. I am a contributing member to the Linux Foundation's Generative AI Commons Education and Outreach Committee. And he dropped into our meeting this week and just chatting with him, and he told me about y'all, so I came in. So also I was really excited. This is my first meeting, that when y'all were started talking, I was looking at the roadmap. I was like, dude, I have to hit up Simon. Like Simon Ho, like he was way too modest. He is doing so much. He has such an incredible background in not only childcare, full solutions, but what we talked about when I met him at the Linux, the AI.dev conference back in October, is we were talking about some very similar, alignment around this idea of personal AI and, co-parenting and ideas around be able to track that. Well, in my personal life, I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia, and I have a for-profit and a nonprofit. On the nonprofit side, I do programming to help underrepresented people get into emerging technology. And we work with Atlanta Public Schools and higher education. I work through Emory and Georgia Tech. I'm currently innovator in residence at Georgia Tech with their group called Seismic, which is doing innovation in K-12. And so in that, that side of it, for the program, and then the for-profit side, I'm developing the software solutions, to solve those problems that, we're seeing in trying to figure out academic honesty. And a lot of the things that I really center on are creativity and storytelling. So most of what I've been building as a dev I'm a media entrepreneur is in the space of creativity and generative AI and diffusion models, but making sure that we're giving controls and admin access to teachers and educators so that they can they can best implement these in their classrooms. And then the final layer I'll say on that is in policy and government. People don't have any standardized policies and standards for figuring out how to get these into classrooms ethically and with a standard that makes sense, especially for teachers that would prefer to actually not touch AI. But on the other side of creativity, where, we're in Georgia and I work in film and TV as well, in that consulting. So we have a lot of touch points in trying to figure out how to get it in here and not disrupt to kind of the other points you're making. So long story short, very excited to be here. Would like to get involved with some work streams.
Thank you. We have a policy work stream that's ready for you to get involved. Would love to see you there. Brian.
And your local ATL councilman is actually part of it, Kwanzaa Hall. So we'd love to have you, brother.
Let's go in the A. Thanks.
Brian, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian. I spoke with Toby earlier this week, and he tipped me off to this group and started taking a look. I'm a 25-year veteran of the customer world, customer executive space, and so been doing success, service, support, and experience my whole professional life. Really thrive in startups and that kind of community. But I do a lot of consulting, and I'm challenging sort of the status quo of where we're at. In the customer space, a lot of outsourcing, a lot of automation, a lot of things that are not great for the customer and maybe shouldn't be because profitability is king. What draws me to Kwaai is the open source nature. And I've predicted, 2-3 months ago in a conversation I had that we are going to have personal bots talking to companies on behalf of ourselves. And the companies are way behind, right? They're going to actually have humans talking to bots who are advocating on our behalf, which is going to flip my whole industry upside down. And they don't see it coming. They're building AI bots to replace BPO and to automate human activity with zero understanding of where the space is actually going. And so I'm very interested in sort of what's being done here. The building stuff for profit, especially B2B sales profit in the AI space is really gross right now, and it's getting worse. And so I'm trying to sort of be disruptive in that space. And I think Kwaai is a nice spot to start.
Thank you, Brian. Really appreciate that. Gautam, I hope I pronounced that right. Please.
Hi, I'm Tabin Gautam. So I got to know about Kwaai during veteran intake from, I think, Barrett. So talking about my background, I'm a software developer, mostly using Java and deploying in AWS Cloud and containerizing and deploying in the Kubernetes. So I don't want to, to join this community is the reason behind is like, I don't want to sit behind and go away with the current developing trend of AI. So I want to participate in this program and want to contribute, mostly maybe developing the AI products and collaborating with you and learning from everyone. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, welcome. We're great to have you here. Please join our DevOps channel. We got to operate all of this stuff too, and can use the help. Medford, you're up next.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Medford. I'm a data scientist. Only been in tech for a few years. I've made a couple of different career switches, but kind of got into the tech world through like a machine learning data science boot camp. I worked at a couple of different companies, primarily as a data scientist and also as a data analyst. So on top of data analytics, I mostly build a lot of supervised learning models. Since I've been laid off last year, part of my interest is to, learn more about AI. So just taking courses, building, simple proof of concepts, implementations, and just trying to learn everything that I need to in my longer term goal to become, let's say, a machine learning engineer or like a full stack data scientist or AI developer. Really just looking to learn and contribute.
Awesome, Medford. That makes two of us. Appreciate you being here. Brendan, you're up.
Hi everyone. My name is Brendan. I just joined Kwaai a couple of days ago. I'm a recent computer science graduate from Western Governors University, and I'm very interested in AI. And although I still have a lot to learn, I'm very excited to be part of Kwaai and contribute to Kwaai's mission. I found out about Kwaai from Barrett Booth. I don't think he's in the meeting today, but thank you, Barrett, and thank you, Reza, for inviting me to be part of Kwaai. I have some experience with both front-end and back-end development, and hopefully I can get up to speed quickly so that I can begin contributing as a developer.
Awesome. Thank you, Brendan. Looking forward to working with you. Julián.
Hi everybody. Sorry for my camera, but it's not working well, but I promise next time I will turn it on. I'm Julián, I'm from Colombia. I have been working as a software developer for almost 10 years, mainly with Java, and I'm very interested in AI and the open source nature that you have. That's why I came. So I think it's a good opportunity to learn and expand my skill and also to make good contributions. So I started learning LangChain, LLMs, and NLP. So I think, I can make good contributions to the team. So I'm just looking forward to get into
Thank
the
you,
team.
Julián. Welcome. And this will be the first week that we've actually not been able to get through everybody that's new. I hope to see you all next week so we can do this. Rihanna, would you please say hello and as our last voice for the day?
Perfect. I can be the last one. My name's Rihanna. I am a sophomore at UC Berkeley, and I'm studying EECS right now. I learned about Kwaai through Balaji, and right now I'm more concentrated on the AI ethics public policy. So super interested, love the meeting, and I hope to learn more.
Awesome. What a way to end it. Reza, we'll use that as your walk off here.
Well, let me say one thing. I think I feel
ahead,
a
Toby.
Bay Area kind of meetup coming along. Like I'm seeing more Bay Area people besides myself. So I think maybe when we come up for this security thing with the Doc Searles, we may have to put together a quick little meetup for the Kwaai members in the Bay Area. So welcome everyone in the Bay Area, and make sure everyone shares their LinkedIn before we get off this call, and let's connect and really jump in the Slack. And I just want to say thank you.
Toby, plug the hackathon next.
Oh yeah, after this we have a hackathon. We hack on the business model, the marketing. We talk about engineering stuff. So please feel free to join. I'll drop a link here in the chat in case you guys don't have it. And look forward to seeing people on it after this call. And if you didn't get to do an intro, I want to say this is a first and it's a milestone for us. So thank you for helping us reach that milestone.
Karsten, real quick. Looks like Open Source Summit IIW, you'll be out there.
Yep. Yeah, that was it. Just wanted to let folks know, look for a call to action to support your teams. A couple sets of us are going to be at those two events, Open Source Summit North America in Seattle in 2 weeks, and the Internet Identity Workshop in Santa Clara, San Jose in 2 weeks. We're going to be sending some quick content about it, help us support and put those things out. Tell people we're going to be there and so forth and so on. So watch for that in Slack, and we'll talk about this again next Friday. Thanks.
Oh, I'm going to Web Summit Rio as well, not with Kwaai, but if any of you happen to be down that way, like next week, week after next, then come find me.
We're going to have to schedule these in. This is awesome. Thank you, everyone. Happy Kwaai Day. Enjoy the weekend. See you on the hackathon. Thank you for showing up today. See you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks. Good night.